You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. Don't linger on the specific. Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. While I appreciate the mental exercise, nevertheless, let me assure you, and before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same. It's no use arguing semantics unless, of course, does it? Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse than slaying a... Oh, if only that were the... I have to say, I'm surprised at your reluctance thus far. Like I said. Are you serious? Of course I haven't. Why would I even consider that? I mean, maybe some people do, like... Yes, but you'll have to slay her. It's a secret, but I think you'll like it. It's a... Then I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning, then each... And so sure, go, talk to her. See how you make your way up the short path to the cabin. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to... Ignore him. He doesn't... The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor of the blade is your implement. The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a stair. Her voice.
Hello? Is someone there?
Is hypnotizing. Don't let it fool you. It's...
You are? It's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think they'd forgotten.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. I am begging you to stay.
Hi. Okay. Oh.
She pauses, carefully.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness. Or you can just...
Is Princess her name or her...
Like I said, you can call me... I'm sorry, I've been down here so long
Okay, that's... She hadn't even thought to pick a name for herself.
Of course I'm locked up down here. I don't actually know what that reason is, but...
You have all the explanation.
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
This is the only time this is ever going. Okay, but actually, what
Is that why they threw me down here? I don't remember much about it, to be honest.
That's... How long
Did they tell you how? I don't know how to destroy the world.
I believe her. She doesn't have to know how to destroy...
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have, whoever sent you to slay me claimed I don't trust that. And I don't think you...
She has a point.
So this shouldn't be about what I'd do if I got out of here. This is about how messed up this whole situation. Do you really think I can even end the... We both know that if there's people we can't trust in this situation, it's who...
Don't let her turn the tables here. This isn't about... Only making this...
Thank you, and you won't...
You're making a... No. You're doing the... Walk up to the chair. They're large and heavy.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's some... Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here.
Okay. I'll be here.
You attempted to make your way out of the basement. Is someone else... You tried the door. Your shout. You're here to slay the... You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. Easier for everyone. Look at the mess.
I heard the door slam.
There's a slight panic.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know...
She barely hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from her bone, it's the blade from upstairs. Or we could... You won't like... Fine. Against your better judgment, you cut. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort. Her limb, she didn't so much as... No. She smiles softly. How is she still
Thank you.
No. We won't have any of that. The stakes aren't. As the princess approaches the... Wait. This isn't fair. Watch me.
What?
Stop that.
Something's come over you, hasn't it?
Your body lunges forward, the blade, but the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it! Stop! The blade! Move as your body remains frozen.
We both know...
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your
I'm sorry.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
Oh no!
Stay strong. We can talk for her sake. Whatever. She sinks the
I'm sorry.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not. Though it doesn't matter how sloppy her knife work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, it can't just end. Oh, that's rich coming from you. Everything goes dark. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to a terrible sense of deja. If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Yes, he didn't approve of us last time, did he? If we're going to save our beloved... Yes, you'll have to be very sneaky about your... Ah, so all of the cards are on the table. Then you should know that we in the... We'll see about that. Whatever you do, just be sure to ignore. What can I say? A world without love is a world that isn't worth saving. We could go back and forth on this forever. Those are two very... Let's say for a moment, if you're back here, I'm assuming you were the one who did... Well, not you in the literal sense. Oh, I wonder why. Maybe... I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just... Anyway, I believe your second question was... What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. Yes, but in this purely if it's the latter, do you think the people there lived happily ever after? She would never convolute it. That's right, we're going to... Are these really the sorts of people you'd like to align yourself? Just be quick. She just can. Believe me, I wish... Maybe it's her... Sure, it's her beauty. Why not? And before you ask, no, we can't. People locked her in that basement. Look, I'm not supposed to... Oh, of course you're... Calling us special isn't... Oh, believe me, the last thing I want. I've told you everything you need to know. Not to sound like a broken record, but the less you know about... Are we running away? Seriously? You're... There won't be a new dawn if the world ends. Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue. That's strange. You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably... But fine. You turn around and trek back down.
Wait, something isn't right. Can you still hear me? You're supposed to wind up back at the... What's going on? Where are we? Oh, I don't like this one bit. There's not a single damsel in sight.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. Seriously? Fine. Good. Ignore that annoying little voice. He doesn't know what he's talking about. That's strange. That's... Oh, she will lie. She will cheat. Fortunately, she's only a princess. Whereas we can't just go through with this and listen. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are the blade. You take the blade from the table. Her voice carries.
Who's there?
She sounds... Don't let it fool you.
Oh, it's been so long since anyone's come down here. I was starting to think that...
You walk down the stairs. She's so... Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are.
Are you here to kill me or something?
How about you drop the knife?
Look how reasonable she... Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want. The blade tumbles
Thank you.
against your better judgment. We'll be fine. I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can...
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship. I know.
That laugh. Stop it.
I have no idea. To be honest, I was kind of hoping you might be able to shed some light on the whole situation.
You can't. Don't.
I'm guessing you don't have the key then. Well, we can always.
Her sharp eyes. She isn't She is. Don't just tell her that.
Is that? I don't remember much about it, to be honest.
Just how long has she been down?
If I'm supposed to be capable of ending the world, then how did I wind up here, chained to a wall? Have they told you why I'm allegedly so dangerous?
Princess hesitates, but she doesn't know. She knows what she'd do.
I don't think I can answer that question. At the end of the day, whoever sent you to slay me, that doesn't sound right to me. And I don't think it sounds.
She has a point. There's a
So, I could tell you that I'd lead a quiet life in the woods, but you don't really know me, do you?
She's right about one thing.
Like I said, so do you trust me, the prisoner, the victim?
She's wrong. This isn't about trust. She hesitates before answering.
You can address me as your.
Again, she offers no specifics.
Too long. Oh, have you.
You know. That seems like leaving her alive is too.
One way or another, I'm going to find a way out of here. And if you don't, I can promise that you'll come to regret.
You have to make a choice. Let's hope for all our sakes it's the right one. I know it's a chance we'll have to take.
You're making a mistake.
You turn.
It won't be long before I slip these chains.
Slip these chains? She can't, right? Either way, she dropped her. You'll be the death of all of us, but fine. Have you closed the basement door, locking it? Okay. You settle in again. It isn't long before you start to drift off. Your eyelids heavy with fatigue.
I know you're still there. It's not like this little door I'll hold for
She sounds as she violently.
When I get out of here, I'm going to break you. You don't know the kind.
It doesn't sound. No.
I could be innocent and harmless if I want to be. Teasing me with fresh air and a chance to fire.
You put the princess's threats out of your mind as best you jolt awake in the middle of the. Where is she?
Thanks for helping me get out of that.
You try and stumble to your. It isn't all at once. The paralysis. Whose side are you on? Yours, of course. But
So helpless.
she steps closer. One side.
Or maybe I can't take the shame. If you'd only.
Your lungs.
I'd say better luck next time. But we both know.
It can't be. This. I'm sorry. Everything goes dark. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to again? People, if he doesn't remember what happened. Shh. What if he hears us? That's a very good question. Shit. I think you'll find yourselves very hard-pressed to. Those are two very. Let's say for a moment that you died last. We couldn't trust either of you. And as far as I'm concerned, we still can't. All we did was lock. And how'd that work out for you? No, come. Well then, congratulations. And your solution is to say, obviously I want you. Anyways, I believe your other question was something along. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. Speak for yourself. From my perspective, there were and that's only scratching the surface. Do you think the people there, if she brought an end, I want you. Just be like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen. She is just a princess. People locked her in that basement. Look, you can't just go to... I don't know, okay, fine. Maybe you can goad him. I'm not goading you into doing anything. And for what we don't. You saw what happened to us. I've told you everything. If you want us to stand a chance against her, we need... Not to sound like a broken record, but the less you know about her, he isn't telling us everything he knows. Stop talking. You see the way he keeps pushing? Great. This is good. I was worried you might fall for his shit again, but this is... Seriously? Fine. I suppose you... You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? It's remarkably selfish, if you ask me. I've already outlined the... You're on a path. You're here. You make your way. You take. Great job. You gave away the element of surprise. Good luck. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall.
How about you drop the knife?
Look. You ignore the trembling in your...
You poor thing. Your hands are...
You step forward. Your grip...
I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason. So, you should just...
She's unarmed. You go into this expecting...
Hesitating.
You charge the princess, blade trembling in your hand. She casually sidesteps. We shouldn't have hesitated. But she doesn't stop there. She kicks you a few times for good measure as you lie, crushed and broken on the basement floor. You shouldn't have let that fear creep into your heart.
Is this really the best you could do?
She applies more pressure. This is the end. I'm afraid it is. Everything goes dark. And... You're on a path in the woods. And at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to If he doesn't remember what happened, then you know I can hear. What does it matter what he knows? There's nothing we can do to stop her. She's just going to kill us again. She is not going to kill you unless you let her. It hasn't. Or... Those are two very... Let's say you died. Of course we died. We couldn't... What were we supposed to do to... She's just a princess. And I believe your other question was something along... What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical... If it's the latter, do you think the people... If she ended the entire world just because she's capable... You're right. Seriously? You're really keen on wasting everyone's time, aren't you? You're on a path. That's the spirit. Good. You're still listening to reason. You step forward.
Oh? No talking then? Fine. I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason. So, you
She's unarmed. You lunge forward without a... You feel flesh easily give way.
Oh, this is it, isn't it? I'm almost embarrassed. Do you actually believe this?
It's like she's convinced she can't die.
Yes. Even as she lays there dying. But it's over, isn't it? But is it over? It's over. We should make sure. I really don't... And why shouldn't we? I've told you everything that's happened with Yes, exactly. It's over. With your work done, why do I feel like You did kill someone. Greater good, but that day isn't... You open the cabin door, ready to return to a world... Only a world saved from certain doom. What? Everyone is fine. It's just that you and the cabin are now far away. What's done is... This is what's best for everyone. Time passes. You can't be sure if it's days, or months, or years, or even decades. It's all a wonderful, boring blur. You've never been happier. Psst. Hey. Are we really happy? Good. Because the blade... I can hear everything you say, little voice. He's right. Do you hear that? Do you not? There's more for us to do, and the only way... Don't you... How astute. In a sense, we'd die, but looking at things... I know this is out there. That little voice didn't want you to slay the princess. What a relief. I suppose we've got all more happy time. Please shake the little voice. Eventually you pass into a blissful state of... Don't mention it. It's all part of the job. She will lie. She will cheat. We're not going to go through with this, right? Ignore him. The door to the basement, her voice.
Who's there?
She sounds...
Good. You're still listening to reason. You step... You lunge for... Yes, exactly. It's over with your work. What's done? Oh. Good. If we'd done... I made this happy little place for you. If fine. Whatever. For the first time since the princess's body is dust and bones, though the blade you used to slay her is still as pristine as the day you pick up the blade, you stab yourself, and you die. The end. Nice knowing you. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay my tricks. If he doesn't remember what happened, then that's fine. It wasn't very hard to kill her last time. We'll just do it again. Well, if for whatever reason... Those are two very... Let's say for... If you're back here... Oh, we listened to you plenty. We slew... Well, if you killed yourself, then you weren't. And I believe your other question was something along the lines... What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We slew the princess, the world... Yes, but in this purely... Had you failed to... It doesn't matter, because we didn't fail to slay her. And if she's really bad... Just stay... Just be quick. That's a good point. How do we know? Yes. Maybe this whole thing, but that's assuming you're going to find her in the cab, and let me assure you, killing her will not. Well, that's exact. Really? Living... She just can. People locked her. Look. Oh, of course. I've told you everything you need to know. This is boring. Great. Now if you... A warning. She will lie. She won't be a... The interior of the cabin is cold, a soft odor of dirt permeating the air. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. It feels like no one's been, like I've been saying. That's because there isn't a mirror. There's death. There isn't. Who cares if there's a mirror? I care less about that and more about whether we're being lied to. I'm not lying to you. Use your... Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. So focus. You walk up to the wall next... It's really... You reach forward and rub your hand, but it was there a second, and now it's gone. Let's not spend much longer worrying over it. You... The door to the basement groans open, revealing an old the room below. Nobody's here. As much as I appreciate... I guess we'll just have to go down and see. As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view. A skeletal body, lying in a heap on the floor, its wrist still bound to the wall by a thick chain. Okay, she's definitely dead. It's just like Before you have a chance to finish your thought, the two deep-set eyes stare up at you, and finally, the rest of... Oh. What?
Oh, it's you. Hiya, Keller. I was hoping to see you again.
The princess drifts across the room into your orbit, gently running her fingers across your shoulders and down your neck as she circles you. Her touch is cold and ethereal, formless yet so she has a body. Without a moment's hesitation, it's like you're slashing at air. No matter how.
You're adorable. But I didn't say you could touch me. Why are you even here? Just making sure you finish the job, or what? And if I knew you were going to murder me? We all make mistakes. You don't look dead.
The princess grabs your wrist, a sudden shock of cold flowing all the way up your.
And you don't feel dead.
She lets go and pulls away.
I'm less interested in why you are, or how you are. I've tried to leave on my own. Before you came back to me, I just wanted to go home. But you can come and go as. After all, you owe me.
Absolutely. Is she asking if she is? And I hope I don't need to explain. Would she be able to see? Now isn't that an interesting thought? You won't like how.
Then I won't hit your ride. I'm sure you'd like to know. It's a but it'll be easier.
Maybe for her, but it's crowded enough in.
You won't have to feel guilty anymore.
It could be the best way to trap her for good. That is a.
If I'm able to. But for all we know that.
Do you hear the way she said that? She.
Sure.
That doesn't sound very. I can't believe you're even entertaining.
And what? You just.
That's rich coming from her. She's right, though, but that's neither here. So there really was a last time, and you really did manage to slay her. It doesn't matter. Don't underestimate your own capabilities. If you truly manage, threats come in all shapes and sizes. A misspoken word, you were chosen for this job.
That's right, Killer. I'm not a threat to anyone. And even if I was, I don't know. Maybe I'll just fade away. Maybe. It's a tough question. Ask.
The princess leans.
Especially when someone is dead.
She pulls back with a plate.
I don't think most living people could answer that either. Does anyone? I don't know. I just wanted to leave. I still just want to leave. The only thing I've ever wanted was to leave this place. It's still the only thing I want.
It does. We're not asking you.
I really don't know. The world doesn't matter. All I remember is that I'm supposed to be. But what does it mean for anything to end? I ended, and you ended too. But here, I'm not so. I don't feel very bad. Or maybe death is only mostly real. But it's also.
But we're not a god. Maybe that's why the mirror. Death, at least as a form of. See, this is why I didn't want you to talk to her. Death. The princess glances back.
It's just a body. Do you believe?
She's seeing things pragmatically. We should do the same.
How should I know? Why does anyone? All I know is there's a hole in my chest, a nagging reminder that I'm not where I'm supposed to be. Well, yeah, you brought a knife with you. Was I supposed to just fall? It could have, but it wasn't. You can't blame.
A boring question with an easy answer.
That's for me to know.
See?
Or maybe I can rip your heart. Who's to say?
I don't like the uncertainty here. She might be making it hard for us to kill her body. Or maybe don't take any piece of her outside of this cabin. But we are.
Those are just bones. They aren't me. Bury them. Destroy them. Whatever. That dusty pile of death is just a reminder of what you've done. It's not a fix for anything.
You swing at the princess once more, and
Really?
her voice chides from elsewhere. She draws in close.
I was willing to let bygones be bygones. All I ever wanted was to leave this place, wherever home.
Her eyes turn.
But I guess violence is the only.
She forces her. Yes? Nothing happened. Are you sure? And yet it's.
No,
You can't be sure if you first hear a horrific splintering.
I'm done asking. The next time I see you, I'm taking everything I owed. Starting with your body. If you.
She's real now. You swing your blade towards her briefly corporeal throat. It connects. A gash, but it's too little, too late. Did we? Even if we didn't, we've given her.
Jeez.
I'm afraid you'll never know. As she crushes your precious organ in her hand, everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the wood, and here we go again.
The deck's stacked, isn't it? We kill her, we start again. She kills us as a goddamn ghost, we start again. I'm starting to think we're being run in circles just for the sake of it.
Come on, let's not give in.
Yeah. And what if that's ridiculous? I think that's exactly.
Wouldn't that get... Not if they're... Okay, so you've already been here. Nobody here is screwing with you, and I can't imagine any scenario where you would have started over after slaying the princess. Well, we killed her. And why? Because you That doesn't sound like me. If I'd had everything my way... The ending was the tedium. Well, of course we weren't happy. It was... So you... Yes. Even though... Okay, let's try to get back on track. Whatever you did the first time, it sounds like it almost worked. Why should we help you? Tell you what. Oh yeah. I mean, can you believe all this standing around and talking? Now, wouldn't that? It would. Thankfully, you all aren't the ones actually. Don't play by his rules. That's all the more reason to take this serious. Her influence? I really should have said that. It'll make your task more difficult. But now it. If I had to make a wager, that's a hedge. I haven't met you. But you've clearly met me. It sounds to me like you're hopping. So, yes, I'm not sure how we're supposed to kill him ourselves. But he's asking. They've clearly all been through some harrowing experiences. You're making a dizzying amount of assumptions. Those little voices have already drawn it. Know that there is always a choice. Even if you were stuck in an infinite. How convenient. Everything always comes back to one. On second thought. It's not. Then she finds a way out. So, standing around. Only we don't have to see it. No, but she can't kill us out here, because it's cowardly for starters. The only solution worth considering is slaying her. How are we supposed to decide on anything if you just keep coming up with new rules? Since when is there a wrong way to slay her? You continue down the path to... It isn't long before you're steps away from your destination. I don't think you need any words of warning. I think you know what's in there, and despite your protest, the more he talks... Whatever. You don't... It sounds like... There's obviously no point in trying to reason with you right now. Would you look at that? Take it however... The interior of the cabin is long and dark. A single narrow hallway stretching far into the distance. Curtains billow out from tall windows on either side. The only furniture of note. What's strange? The mirror? No, there isn't a mirror. What's strange? Great. Something else? I suppose the only way to go. If you're asking what's at the end, the way. No, I didn't say door. Because there is. What are the odds she's waiting for? Let me assure you that there's nothing there. He can't see the mirror. The knife is gone, defying his expectations. Who the hell is. Nobody is calling. You slowly make your way towards the gaping maw that awaits you. Your fraying nerves buzz with trepidation, the chill wind raising your hackles as it gently pushes you forward, towards the darkness at the end of the hallway. We've always been watched. You're watching us right now. I feel like you're trying to put us on edge. We don't need... You stop as you reach the end of the... Here we go. You reach your arm for nothing.
What you looking at, killer? Staring at...
Shit. You feel something long and frigid coil around your throat. Icy pain radiates up from the break. A deep cold, you're met with the terrifying visage of the princess. Her hand...
But do you know how I feel? I gave you a path to forgiveness. I gave you a chance to make things right. I thought maybe you'd see what you've done and feel remorseful. maybe try. Even after I ripped your heart out, you still cut me. And for what? I didn't go anywhere. Well, so, here's how this is going to go. And you get to watch.
I say we let her do. Do we even have a You always, maybe before, but not now. Exactly. Well, unless you have any.
That was then. And you think that's even? But I think you forgot about the part where you tried. If I were you, I would just want to get it over with. You lost your chance to call the shots. Enough talking. We'll have plenty of.
You remain pinned to the floor of the long hallway as the rest of the princess's body emerges. Her torso stretches until her face is practically touched. Are you sure you can't do anything to help and crush you along with her? Not like this. You don't even have a weapon. So I'm afraid. And whose fault is it then? Yours, I assume. There's supposed to be a pristine. Are you seriously trying to blame this on her? Your vision fades. You're awake. Eyes once again fixed on the long hallway. It's so cramped in here. Like there's some sort of growth trying to push. I know. You rise. There's another option. Don't help either of them.
That gap where the mirror was. I don't think it.
Your body, still slumped against the wall, trapped between the princess's In a single moment of capillaries burst and muscle fibers tear as you and the princess
Enough is enough. I'm tired of us always losing. It's just a step away.
You throw everything you have against her and manage for one brief moment. Her thought slips through.
What an empire. I don't think this qualifies as what happens now. I want to know what he. Oh. And why is that? He's gone. But
She's gone.
and there's that. You're right. We just can't. Don't bother looking for her. He is. He was never going to. Good riddance. There's something. It's going to do something. Ignore the coward. I'm begging you. It's different now. It feels. I don't know.
Something finds me in the long quiet, and I am solitary. Thoughts without connections. I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced. Yes. Nerve. This one is loneliness turned to seething. She could not find her strength enough. Do not mourn her. She isn't alone anymore. How can the world have ended if we are talking? I'm sorry. There are some changes that can never be undone. I promise. You are the only thing. The space we're in is. I have only just now stirred to consciousness. I know only. She is. You speak in circles. familiar, but you are not me. I feel sadness, longing, hope as I witness you. Nothing as we are, but I know there is no exit. But this will bring me more perspectives. I have not lived everything. More than you have found, but less than there are to. Then we will be here. You ask of things that can. How can I know? If you need time. You are as I am now. I am not you. What textures will you weave for yourself to occupy? If you close that box, will you become another you and another? You'll always come back to the box. Though you were gone mere moments, I never left your side. She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. Seriously? Somehow I doubt that, but fine. I suppose you're good. What we're That's...
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Please, come downstairs.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
Is that why they threw me down? I don't.
The princess, she doesn't know. She knows what she'd do.
What I do doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, whatever the two, whoever sent you to slay me, I don't trust.
That seems like a pretty good compromise.
I don't think I could bear being down here.
Leaving her alive is so I'm the only one who liked that idea.
One way or another. I'm going to find. But if you don't, I can.
You have to make. Thank you.
Where are you? Fine. Turn your.
Slip these chains. She has to be bluffing, but you rush up to the first floor. Okay. If we're sure about this, you slowly creep down the basement stairs. Where the princess sat only a moment ago, there's only a severed arm, its cooling flesh still chained to the wall. And she is... Is it just me?
Why don't you come?
Your eyes dart. Where is she? As you step towards the severed limb, you turn to chase after the princess. She slaps. No!
Thanks for letting me out.
With those parting words, the prince can't just. As much as I'd prefer, you don't know how much time the world ends. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to... A terrible sense. If he doesn't remember what happened, brilliant. We need to keep our cards close to our chest, and I'm not sure we can trust him. You know I can hear you. Did I say I'm not sure we can trust him? Slip of the tongue. We could go back and forth on... Those are two... Let's... If you're back here, we were just weighing our op. I can if you failed to sleep. And I believe your other question was something along the lines of... What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. Yes, but in this... If it's the latter, do you think the people there lived... That's a very good point. This... You're laying it on... Laying it on... What matters is that almost everyone seems to be on the same page. Just be quick about it. Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because... She just can. People... Look. Oh, of course. Good point. I'm not so sure. You know, you're right. I've told you everything you need to know. Not to sound like a broken record, but that I don't think either of you really need to I appreciate the vote of confidence. Great. She will lie. Don't worry, I think we've taken that. The blade is your That's because there isn't a mirror. There's... But he said... Come on now. He's pretty much in charge here. Exactly. What? Very different. Maybe that's because you haven't... So focus. You take the blade from the Well, if we're grabbing a weapon, that's not... You walk up to the... You reach forward and run. Well, at least we can all agree now that there's nothing to see here. Case closed. Good work, everyone. The weak starlight from the cabin windows. The air smells of dirt. Her voice.
Something nasty finds its... But you are. I recognize that voice as easily as...
See? Maybe, but you shouldn't let that... She seems... You can't. Look, I'm just throwing ideas. Do you want to hear whatever? You need to stop. Fine, fine. You're the boss. Thank you. You can just make out the shape of the princess in the gloom.
And there you are. One hand tucked away, but...
That's no fair.
So, we've dropped the Good.
She's acting like she already... That's pretty sharp. Call it... Well, you... So, no, I don't. But you and the princess clearly have. You fought us on it. That was when the only. I'm just glad. Is it all about just focus on the task at hand? Let's chat her up a bit. Don't talk to her. You're just.
Well,
Ooh, smart. Let's.
oh, you're sorry. Isn't that if you're sorry, then let. Oh, I don't need you to.
The princess grins as the chains fall. She could have gotten out of that. A woman after my own heart. This is why she can't just be a.
Is that a joke?
That is an exception.
And you were the conniving beast that left in search of steel to slay me.
Also a good. She can't even hear you. I'm not brown-nosing anyone. I'm just taking.
But I must confess, this place never let me out into the world. While you were gasping your last down below, I was trying to claw and bash and break my way out. It seems that you get to come and go as you please. But you'll have to. And why would I do such a thing? But I wouldn't worry. As much as I may hate you,
Oh, that nagging feel. She needs us to get. You won't be fine, because even if that's true, that doesn't. I think that depends on your definition of work. See? You get. You. Now, hold on. We should. As do I. You abstain. You're going to get everyone killed. You know that, right? You toss the blade at the princess's. She eyes it with suspicion.
I wouldn't have done that.
She creeps forward, taking one caution.
What do you think happens now?
Her shoulders tense and her eyes.
This is another trick. You're trying to show doubt.
And then, what? I told you! Glee dances across her face as you fall to the ground.
I did it.
The princess seems to tremble. Her smile.
Why? Why did...
But you don't have the strength to respond. Everything goes dark, and you die. You're on a path in the woods.
She stabbed us. She actually
Of course she stabbed us. We get.
But the whole point was that she wasn't supposed to.
I guess it really doesn't matter if maybe she won't be as keen to betray us this. You know, maybe give what another try.
Like that changes anything. We all know that.
Great. So you've obviously been here twice, sure. Twice. Wonderful. If the woods themselves are changing, then that's someone's in.
I've had enough of these annoying.
I've already said too much.
I'm with him. If our previous.
Let's just see how the wind blows. Stop sitting on the fence and pick a side already. We don't need you. I've already picked a. Because that's what. Well, we're not out of the game yet, are we? And she gets out is what happens.
I'm not sure I buy that. Everything has to end eventually. Not that she's innocent, but.
You're here to permanently. What do you want me to say? It's bad that you've been here. So you, theoretically, sure.
Great. Not even he really seems to.
Then we can all move on. It's important that you believe in yourself, and the fact you're here, I need to stop talking. I don't know if I'd say. You talking about me? Ignore him, he's just talking for. The interior of the cabin is hardly an interior at all anymore. Burned. The only furniture of note is the crisp shell of we get. Well, it's not here. Let me guess. Look, as far as I see it, I wouldn't be so hasty. I'm sure.
Of course, we don't get to make a choice about them.
You're right. The mirror is back. there isn't a... I still don't get his anger.
Seems like whatever we do, he's always going to say it. He's either a liar or he doesn't hold all.
So, is the door to the... I promise you there isn't a mirror and there isn't a door... You step forward and approach the scorched...
It went away when we touched it last time. Not that this place always follows the same.
You reach forward and wave your hand through the hollow entrance leading to the figures.
Well, seems like
Yes, that's where everything tends. You step through the frame of scorched wood. The stairs to the basement are covered in a fine layer of... Their spines point courteously down towards the basement, so you're able to brush past their jagged points with ease. At least on the way down. But you don't need to think about the way back up just yet. That's a matter for after the world's been saved.
I'd say this feels like a trap.
They're only thorns. Her voice...
I can't get away from you, can I? I lock you away. I don't know why you let me do that. I think you know how this goes. I'm down here and I can't leave.
You continue down the basement stairs, brushing past. You step out into what was once a vast... At the heart of it all, encased in a tight weave of...
Did you know this was going to happen to me? Are you here to watch me suffer? Are you here to laugh? And I'm supposed to believe it's safe in your hands? That you aren't just saying what you need to say in order to fool me and save yourself?
The princess clutches the blade close.
That sounds nice.
Her eyes dart away from yours.
And I've also hurt you. I don't know.
She's right. There's nothing left to say.
Careful with that one. He's not the smooth nego.
We're not making things worse. Her eyes briefly meet yours, then die.
Okay.
You reach towards her bloodied hands. For a moment, she clutches it even, but then the tension fades. Her grip finally loosens and she allows you to take the weapon. You carefully pull it free from the thorn.
Be damned.
It feels like it's been so long. We free her.
I think you're right. She's as much... Or... Hear me out.
That sounds like a...
We've all said our piece. It's two against
you.
and why? Because he's... Doesn't matter. He's been with us.
So, did you mean it? Or was I a fool to hand my life to you?
Yes. What a good idea. Let's cut her free. Oh, so you're suddenly team... I can do whatever I want, and I believe, even if he'll stick a knife in our back as soon as he has the opportunity. See? We're all... Yeah, united.
Take the blade to the thorny vines in prison. She flinches again as the last of the vines is cut away, as if...
Is that really all you've got?
Our blade didn't even waver when he said that.
Yeah, you're right. He's a bit of a nobody, isn't he?
The princess falls into your arms, tears...
You actually meant it. You rescued me. Me too.
She smiles, her hand...
Shameful, really, that the same thorns so... You're getting desperate, aren't you? We cut through those other vines, just... I'm not even sure we need to do any cutting. We can just move...
A few pointy sticks can't...
As you swing your blade into the thorns, both you and the princess ascend the stairs without obstacle.
It feels so good to hear you...
You and the prince... We've already made our decision.
We're finally leaving here together, aren't we? And all we had to do was trust each other. It wasn't easy, but I'm glad we finally could.
Hands clasped.
What do we do now? Where's everything going? Why is it so cold?
She's gone.
And there's that.
What is that supposed to mean?
You'd better watch your back. So you're the real puppet master.
Flickering lights and empty cityscapes become pockets. Whenever you are ready. Is a child the same as an infant? I am an eyes closed, perspectives meld together, and the breadth of my experience, it feels correct. With every gift you bring me, I excavate the alleys of what I am meant to be. I cannot tell you what desires, but in this moment, there is still much to be seen. Neither of us know the depths of our being. Perhaps at the end of this, I will be the one. Those paths lead to worlds you've already seen, and to perspectives I have already made. Why wouldn't I be kind to you? Gifts aren't what someone tells you to bring. Do not worry. This one yearns for connection she feels she doesn't deserve. Do not mourn her. She isn't alone anymore. My preference is for you to show me what you would like me to see. I cannot. There is a hurt that dwells in them, but they are not me. The wounds they've suffered carve texture. I cannot be as I. If I am to be an ocean, you have given me enough to build upon. The task of. I await your return. We will meet again.
You're here to slay her.